They must have something in mind if they want to take the Zillion away.
Must be something very specific.
Yeah.
But the Aatrox taken away, so it feels like very standard power picks outside of the Zillion. We might see an Urgot banned here at some point in the future. Morgana banned away as well. Now this is deliberately targeting KaSing on the bottom side of the map, taking away those comfortable range supports from him. And now Crownshot and Dreams Vedius aren't always the people that we look at to, to pop off on this SK Gaming lineup. So I wonder if they have something special for us. The Lucian gonna be the final ban.
Now, so far, SK haven't put a huge amount of priority on the. Never mind, they're going to do it. I was kidding. Urgot is the first.
You didn't say a champion yet. You could have played it off.
They don't put priority on the Nunu. Oh, what a shocker! Not first picked again. Wow. Urgot going to be the focus. Now, I quite like this hover, and the only reason why I want to talk about it is because in the LCK, there's been a lot more Ashe recently. She's been popping off. She's been. Deft had a fantastic game on her recently. I believe it was against KT as well. Maybe even Kingzone. I can't quite remember who, but it was fantastic regardless.
K team for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think that it hasn't quite made its way over to the West yet, but I'm hoping that we do get to see a little bit more about it. And if it is locked in, we can talk about how strong it is. But with all these target bans, it just increases the priority on the Rakan. And KaSing had a great Rakan yesterday. I think that he's more than happy to pick it up once again. And I think that so far, Exile aren't really too upset about this. It just means that you're going to look at something like an Alistar or the Brawl to the side of SK.
And now interesting to see that, a lot of these range supports were banned away on the side of SK, giving the Rakan up. Almost feels like they're ready for this pick. They've now opted to take the Alistar for Dreams on the bottom side of the map. So excited to see how two engaged supports go toe-to-toe, but expect getting the Sion, getting a very safe, comfortable pick. Could, of course, be flexed to the mid lane, but not always something that we see here. Exile now immediately locking in on the Xayah there for Jeskla. So hyper-aggressive bot lane if they do want to set it up. One we saw yesterday, matching up against the Kaisa Alistar. So bot lane does feel like there's a lot of carry potential in both the champion picks.
Yeah, very strong level 6 power. So they have a strong 2v2 on the side of Exile. Scaling slightly more in favor of SK because they have the Kaisa and they have the Alistar engaged for late game team fights as well. But both compositions very similar right now. Nothing too stand out. We're still looking for a jungler, and I would say mid lane picks from both sides. Lissandra, Galio, what else is left available? Irelia, Akali. All those big power picks still up and free to prioritize. And this is what's interesting to me, like, over in the LCK, if Akali was open, first pick, regardless, every time. Whereas in Europe, we put way more value on getting things like the Urgot, making sure that you have that kind of tanky, flexible top laner. So it surprises me that that difference exists. And I feel like the only team that would prioritize something like an Akali would be either the Misfits or the G2s of our league, the ones with the star power carry players.
Absolutely. And of course, Akali, a very mechanically demanding champion, but incredibly powerful when used appropriately. Neither of these teams, though, going to prioritize it, as the jungle will remain the target of the final 3 bans here in Phase 2. Nocturne, Sejuani, Xin, all taken off the board. And the Karthus now immediately locked in. They see the lack of aggressive junglers with the Xin taken off the table, and they say, hey, we might have ourselves a safe jungle for this Karthus. Could still technically go anywhere.
You got a safe lane top with the Sion. You've got a strong 2v2 down bot. So far, they've got very solid lanes to allow the Karthus to play pretty much how he likes. SK going for a very conventional meta draft with, if they lock in the Lissandra, they're going to put that in mids. If I were them, I'd consider rounding things out with something like a Camille, perhaps. Another strong pick could be... I don't think they're going to go for the Zac. I'm trying to think about all the other junglers that are available. I feel like there's one glaringly obvious one that I'm forgetting, but I can't put my finger on it. Camille is the one that immediately comes to mind.
The least available, but less common. Gragas, of course, kind of has fallen down in the tier list.
Yeah,
we did see Mowgli play it to some good success. But
I wasn't expecting the Gragas, I'll be honest.
And we got a lot of bruisery kind of CC-style champions here, Vedius, on the side of SK Gaming. Really, the one big damage source is the Kaisa. Lissandra, though, with the Aftershock, of course, can do a decent amount herself. But now we're going to see what the rest of the composition rounds out with. KaSing, of course, there's no Zillion to hover this time, so he has to troll hover us with some other stuff.
He did. Ooh, it's going to be the Zoe. So we're actually going to see the Zoe picked against SK after they did it yesterday as an answer to the Lissandra. Now, The reason why Zoe is good into Lissandra is because you outrange the Lissandra, which means that she can't really get up close and personal and lock you down. And once you get to a certain level, Zoe also outpushes the Lissandra as well. So I quite like the matchup. I think it's quite good. You are forced to run Cleanse rather than the Teleport, which does hurt your global pressure, but outside of that, it's still a very solid pick. Now, the thing about Zoe Karthus is cast your mind back to G2. If that Q lands or the E lands less than 10 days ago, if either of those abilities land, Karthus ults you. Hey, if Karthus ults you and then a Zoe Q hits you, you're dead. Now, there's no Jace to add to this. There's no long-range poke from the Q, but the point is that the poke from Zoe Karthus is very easy to land, and it is an excellent way to start off a team fight as well. So I think it's a devastating combo. I think it's very powerful. And now Exile will be trying to pull this one off. The focus will be for Karthus, making sure that he has a safe laning phase. He's not going to be that active in the early game. And Selfmade on this Gragas, I'm expecting him to go top because he goes top every game. But I'd also like to I would also quite like to see him play around mid. Utilize the fact that you have really strong setup with the Lissandra and you have all this CC and damage to potentially get a couple kills onto the zone.
Can they pull it off, though? Can they find those early aggressive coordinated plays with a man like Selfmade in the jungle? You have to believe in that. He's been so successful. But he's almost always gone to the top lane, so I do wonder if we're going to see a bit of shift up here, if he will make his way into the mid lane to try to shut down Exile here. But as we wait for the players to get into game, let's send it over to Trevor, who's standing by with the Managing Director of Excel.
Very much. I am joined here by Kieran Holmes-Darby, as you mentioned, Managing Director, but also co-founder of Exile Esports. First of all, it's a pleasure to meet you and introduce you to the LEC viewers. Who are you and who's your org?
Thank you very much for having us on. Yeah, so Exile, founded in 2014. We are so excited to be a part of the LEC. The organisation was founded over a conversation in a British pub between me and my brother.
As many things are.
As many good ideas crop up. Yeah, but really, really excited to be here. So.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more then about, you know, the team itself. Obviously, when you joined the LEC, pretty open about being the underdogs, pretty open about realistic expectations. And then yesterday, you almost take down the G2 super team. So how am I meant to understand that?
Yeah. So we're pretty self-aware. We know where we're at. We know what the general public feel is of the organization right now. But we want to show, we deserve to be here. And I think yesterday did that for us. And just so proud of the boys, how they came out swinging. And unfortunately, yesterday didn't go our way, but it shows the progress we're making week on week. And next time we'll get them.
Next time we'll get them. One of the things we talked a fair amount about, off camera, was the 10-man roster. And you're also the only European team that's talking about the, academy or the secondary teams and trying to swap players in and out. Explain to me what the vision is and what the goal is for Exile Esports.
Yeah, so we think this idea of a 10-man roster in the future will be the norm for esports. I understand it's a little bit unusual at this point, but we think that although we do have 5 players who are more LEC ready at this point, we have a great, what you would call an academy lineup who are developing on the daily. And this is a really long-term project for us. We're not seeing this as 1-2 years. We're seeing this as 5-10 years. And there are some boys, that will definitely be stepping up in weeks to come. Hopefully, hopefully we see some of them in the spring split. But if not, I definitely think in the summer split. So.
All right. Well, Exile are almost ready to play the game. So just as we take us in, talk to me about some of the vision about traveling back and forth. We know you've got some roots in the UK and some training facilities in the Twickenham Rugby Stadium. So what does that mean for Exile?
Yeah, so really it's about the infrastructure we have there. It's better than the infrastructure that we have here in Berlin. So it's more a performance-related decision than anything else. We're making sure that the players have things to do on the travels, on the plane, making sure they have, whether it be sleep lectures to watch or whatever it is. We're making sure they're maximizing their time. There's no downtime. There's no lapse in our schedule when it comes to performance. So we think it's a positive, and yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But
all right, I have one final question for you. Which team do you want to smash the most in LEC and why?
Yeah, they never say kick a dog while it's down, but Fnatic right now look beatable, and we'd love, being 2 British-based organizations, to put the nail in the coffin. So.
All right, put the nail in the coffin. There we go. Sending Fnatic packing. We're going straight to game with Drakos and Vedius. That was awesome.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
That was excellent insight into the Excel organization. Ridiculously handsome man leading that whole operation up. LEC, Justin Bieber, looking fresh. But now we're in the game. It's SK versus Exile. Both teams sitting at 1 and 2. And we've already talked about the pick and ban phase a lot, Vedius. There's a Karthus. That Karthus jungle is undefeated. It doesn't matter who plays it. All you do is push R. You mash that key.
All right. No, Drakos, no. There are more buttons than just the R, okay? That is a core function of his toolkit. However, he has a very important job to do in the jungle. He has to wave clear. You don't wave clear with R, you got to use the EQ combo, right?
All right, you're right.
If you don't have all of your buttons...
I'm sorry, I know I've offended the small percentage of the player base that plays Karthus jungle.
Right, exactly.
Actually, it's probably very large now because we've all seen how strong it is.
I just feel like it's one of those champions where it's like, oh no, I got autofilled jungle.
Like,
I guess
you
I'll
got
just
this grin on your face. I guess I'll play Karthus jungle.
Yeah, and you know you're always going to be relevant. It's one of those. It's like one of those champions like Malphite, where even if you're 0-10, if you land your ultimate,
like I've never played
useless.
top lane in my life, but I hit a 4-man ult and we won the game.
Yeah,
that's
so
what you do.
That's what Karthus is. Karthus is the equivalent of Malphite top, but he's Karthus jungle, and he presses R, always has bad.
It's going to be a little ways, though, until he presses R. Both junglers, though, getting a leash on the top side. Interestingly enough, Caedrel opting to start on the red buff. But both top laners going to the leash means there's not going to be a whole lot of hidden information as both laners will arrive late. Vedius, though, we saw those bans in the support pool at the beginning, and now I feel like I'm just waiting to see action on the bottom side with the Rakan Xayah versus the Alistar and the KaSing.
So, Rakan-Alistar matchup is quite an interesting one because, so if the Alistar goes in, then it gives the option for KaSing to then go on to Crownshot, and the early level trades actually go in favor of a Xayah Rakan, as you'll likely see right now. It's a good trade comes out from the side of Exile. However, every time KaSing tries to go in, the interrupt exists there for Dreams. He can knock you out, he can interrupt. Now, the 9.2 changes haven't come in. We are still on patch 9.1, which means that KaSing has enough time. He can't go out for a walk and then come back and
before the W lands, just pull out your watch.
So it's still very quick, still very effective. But yeah, I think what you'll see is in the early levels there'll be a lot of push from the side of Exile. But I don't think either wants to try and go for a fight that early on. I think once Exile hit level 6 is when the best time for them to look for a play, because the taunt makes it that much harder for the Alistar to really interrupt the Rakan engage.
Ghostporo will provide a little bit of vision here, but Exile, Sleepy Trouble does connect. They're trying to interrupt the jungle path from Selfmade here. Lissandra going to come over the wall, but Caedrel right there. Throws down the wall of pain. Going to reduce that magic resistance of anyone who walks through it. Crucial against 2 AP champions, but Selfmade still going to pick up the jungle here. Caedrel, though, unafraid, clears out the Ghostporo. Already has the double buffs and looking quite comfortable on this early clear.
Yeah, good stuff coming out. What we are seeing as well from Exile is he is able to get the very early push onto Pirean, so he's going to be forced underneath the tower, and that allowed Caedrel to get that invade off. But yeah, very even start. We are seeing a very slight gold lead for SK. Not entirely sure where that's actually coming from. It's a difference in support, so not too much of a big deal. But yeah, so not a huge amount to talk about. So ask me any questions related to Exile versus SK, because this is a very standard matchup, very slow in terms of what I'm expecting when we come to early game discussions.
Will Caedrel kill someone right now in the bot lane? That's my first question.
No, we won't.
Oh, well, that gives us a lot of time. But Caedrel is a man that I do want to talk about. Of course, had a fantastic performance yesterday on the Nocturne. Felt key to the team's success. But you're sure he's not going to kill him?
I'm really sure.
You're really 100% positive.
I'm actually certain, yeah.
He just face checked the bush. Well, he walked away. Are they going to stun him up though? A lot of damage will come through if they can land it. But everything wow, you are a psychic, Vedius. How did you know everything would miss?
I just... I trusted in Dreams' ability to sidestep, and I also know that a flash Alistar this early on was not going to be killed by a Karthus, so I was very confident. However,
no R button yet, Mr. Karthus. Can't get me that easy.
I just can't help it. Keep your secrets. Keep your summoner spells. I'll let you have them this time. I don't know why Karthus is a farmer now, but he is. Right, Gragsa on his way to the top side. What a surprise! Werlyb is the man that is getting a gank in the early game from Selfmade. Happens every game, like textbook.
It actually does happen every game. Expect, though, not in a good position for this one. Caught out. Selfmade is just going to walk in here. He's going to flash back into the creep wave. Deep spot from the B. Zombie Sion is crucial. If he lands the knock up here, he is going to be in a tough spot. Werlyb, though, could be in trouble. Maybe forced to burn the flash as the Sion runs forward, but the slow there from the corrosive charge, more than enough to back him off. And we do have to throw a little shade Expect's way, because literally every game Selfmade has gone top. Every single game. You can watch the bunch. You can double check. He literally goes top every single game.
It's just so telegraphed. Like, he gets level 4, and then he comes top lane. And he even positions in a really awkward way. He's like, oh, Werlyb is trying to get to the back minions, and then...
I just want to highlight Caedrel is on Krugs right now. This man is like, we told you this was going to happen. I'm not helping you. I'm finishing my Krugs. You knew this was going to happen. This is on you.
Oh, expect. Oh, well, first kill goes to SK in very SK fashion. Will result in a 1,000 gold lead in favor of SK Gaming for the time being. That's a pretty significant lead this early on into the game. Pirean also level 6 to only Exile's level 5. Exile, level 5.
Exile, Excel, expect. Exile, Excel, expect. Gotta get him right. The tongue twister of the day. Now, but you're right, though. Eyes on Lissandra, of course, the cleanse still available for Exile does mean he should be pretty comfortable in this lane phase, but does have to respect the potential for the Predator Gragas to run in to disrupt some of the action.
Not sure what happened to Exile, though. He's suddenly 10 CS down. The lane was actually going pretty well for him. Now, all of a sudden, he's at a disadvantage. Anyway, Selfmade made his way towards bot. Pirean on his way as well.
KaSing going to try to find the knockup, backs off. But this does mean that a lot of tower plating is going to drop. If they're able to grab 2 here, that's a huge gold influx to the bottom lane. Pirean waiting in the wings, ready to turn this one. They're just going to back off, but that is a small advantage in favor of SK here in the early game.
Selfmade is even able to steal away the Gromp. Caedrel not yet that level 6 mark, so he won't be able to help out his laners with the global pressure that he provides. But at the very least, it will zone Jeskla and KaSing away from some farm. So Crownshot doing very well in the 2v2, Pirean doing a great job in the 1v1, and thanks to that kill in the top lane, SK now have 3 solo laners that have a gold advantage. So good stuff from them.
That's a sleepy Lissandra. Exile just going to throw down a little bit more poke. But Vedius, after yesterday's games, I feel like the man that we have to have our eyes on in just about every Excel game is Caedrel. Felt like he dictated the pace so much in that Nocturne performance. Now on the Karthus, even easier to make an impact with the ultimate on this champion. He's just honestly been kind of a surprise performer here for this Excel lineup.
So I heard a lot coming into the split that he's underrated. People should be expecting a lot from him. And even after his week 1, I was surprised by how much criticism he received. Because while I agree he was definitely a little trigger happy, I feel like he played very well. I loved his early game decision making. I love the pathing that he was going with and how he set up Exile to have strong lanes. And I think he's proven himself to be a very solid jungler for this team. And I think he synergizes very nicely with Exile as well. I think they work very well together because they both have an aggressive mindset. Now, the problem that they have right now is Exile has just gone back to base. The blue buff has been started. There is pressure in favor of SK towards the mid and bot lane, which means this blue buff may get taken away from the Karthus.
That's going to be crucial. We've talked about how denying the second blue is an easy way to offer some counterplay here, but it is going to reset.
Nice. Good stuff.
Well played. Does set up for a longer fight here, but Caedrel looks like they are just going to take this one, and Zoe has returned to lane, and they know this fight is not quite as easy as it once was. For now, though, things are actually looking quite good for the SK bottom lane. CS lead there. Excuse me, 76 to 62. So things are going, honestly, well in the individual lane matchups across the board. Werlyb down, yes, a little bit in CS, but does have the kill to his name. So Selfmade has set his team up quite comfortably. No greater advantages quite yet, however.
Waiting for that level 6 mark in the bot lane. KaSing still level 5, but getting ever closer. Selfmade will be spotted out with the vision here. And Pirean continuing to push his lane in the mid lane. Lost Chapter has been picked up for Exile. Normally around this point is where you start to see them actually kind of swing in terms of pressure in favor of the Zoe, but he's playing much more on the back foot. A little bit surprising, but there we are. I guess he's showing a little more respect because he has no vision control towards the bot side of the map, and I guess he's very aware that without a jungler likely to be ganking his lane, that he has to play a little bit more on the defensive side. So I guess it also makes sense. It's much harder to make pressure when your jungler is not going to gank for you. But it will result in an Ocean Drake going in favor of SK, and now they've extended their lead to actually 2k, just from their laners doing exceptionally well.
And good to see this confidence in the laning phase. Ocean Drake traded for a blue buff, definitely not ideal. We'll have to see what Exile can do with that very windowed amount of power. Lissandra, Gragas, Urgot, honestly everyone really happy to have that additional healing and mana regen. We'll let them trade much more aggressively. And expect, gonna be pretty miserable trading against this Urgot. He's already out of mana, and Urgot at this point will pretty much be infinite. We'll always have enough for a full combo in a trade with the power of that Ocean Drake. The buff's powerful pretty much everywhere, but in top lane you definitely feel it the most in those extended 1v1s.
We see Selfmade hanging around the bot side of the map. We'll drop the control ward into the Tri-Brush. I just think it's going to be a slow game, Drakos. It's kind of what I'm expecting. There's good scaling on both sides. Exile want to wait for the item spikes before Zoe really turns on. They might look for a couple plays towards the bot side of the map, but SK want to be the proactive ones. You can see 4 members once again making their way bot side. Exile read the play though.
Wall pain does go down, gives a bit more vision just in case the control ward drops. Looking for that third turret plating.
Exile.
Exiled on the backside though. Don't know if they're going to find the pick here. Caedrel, of course, with the ultimate ready. Not going to use it whatsoever. And SK are just going to back off. Now, tell me, Vedius, when you played for the original Exile lineup, was this how they played the game?
Haha. So fun story. When Exile was forming as an organization, I was the person asked to actually build their first ever League of Legends.
In 2014, to be clear.
2014.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Long time ago. I represented Exile in a bunch of lands, in the UK Premiership as well. We always came 5th. It was really irritating. We could never quite break the top 4. But fun fact, I played with a support that now plays for Fnatic Academy.
There you go.
And I used to play against Maxlaw in the UK scene. Wow. He was bad back then.
You used to be so good at League of Legends.
I used to be very good at League of Legends. In my prime, this is a gloat here, Master Tier 300 LP. Do you want to know how many days I was Master Tier 300 LP?
1, I'm gonna guess 1.
It was 1. I had what was called the
There
great...
you go. That is, wow. That is, you are very supportive, audience. You are very kind.
I had what was called the Great Fall, where I didn't want to go to bed until I won a game.
Oh, the classic.
And I lost
the tilt spiral.
I lost 27 games in a row. I went from Masters 300 LP to Diamond 4.
Yeah, wow. I mean, we see that one in the LEC.
Ooh!
Sneak it in. Well, hopefully.
A fun Vedius history lesson.
There you go. Well, nothing quite so one-sided as the tilt spiral here in this game. Very back and forth, very much about trading objectives. SK, as you mentioned earlier, we check in, it's a 12-minute mark. Building up some individual CS advantages, 120 to 102 on the bottom side of the map. Expect doing what he can to fight back for that early kill deficit he was put in. But another minor objective going into the favor of SK, grabbing this Rift Herald could just turn into a tower. And of course, if you use it during this tower plating phase, it's so much money, Vedius.
Yeah, it really is.
Rains gold.
SK are doing a fantastic job of just controlling the early game, but I kind of want to hark back to Origin versus...
Oh, no.
That sucks. But I want to hark back to G2 versus Origin, when Origin actually had the early game leads, and they were playing against the Zoe and the Karthus and the Jace, and you can see that G2 are actually struggling for the first 50 minutes of the game. They found 1 kill, and then they snowballed. And that's the terrifying thing about this composition, because if that Karthus or the Zoe even gets remotely ahead, or they get just, once they reach those item spikes, this duo is terrifying, man. It's really, really difficult to deal with. So SK doing a great job of building this early lead. It's really important against this comp. And I love the fact that we're constantly seeing them roam towards the bot side to try and take that tower down. And again, they're investing even more into it. So you can see that gap starting to build between Crownshot and Jeskla. And they're likely going to secure this tower now as well. So SK being really proactive in this early game, trying to punish when this duo is at its weakest.
So much money now going to the back pocket of SK as well. 3.5k gold lead. Getting this Rift Herald down while the plating is still up is just so much money. Shelly, you know, just moonwalking. Yeah, you know you're going out. You go out in style, Vedius. But right now, SK absolutely dominating. It really hasn't amounted to much greater than a single tower. We haven't seen an explosive team fight, but they're slowly but surely winning this game. Exile, though, now locked up. Caedrel here going to try to punish. Exile with the cleanse out, the flash as well, burning both sums. Pirean, has he overstayed? Caedrel trying to get something back. Not able to get a kill,
2v4 though, and Exile managed to stop that collapse from happening. No summoner spells were used on their side, but Exile lost both his flash and his cleanse. So definitely not ideal, but with so many members on SK being forced back to base, this could give an opportunity for Exile to secure their first Drake of the game.
Slowly chipping it down. Dreams is on the way. Selfmade as well. TP coming in on the backside. They're going to be happy to try to take this fight. They desperately want to burn through the Drake, but they might just have to give it up. Selfmade trying to find the engage. KaSing trying to look for the re-engage, but the instant stopwatch is going to stop it. Caedrel going to get cut down here in an instant. Crownshot trying to find it back. Caedrel throwing down a few more Skittles, trying to burn through the health bars. There comes the first ultimate, but it's just not going to amount to much. Well played by SK there in the exchange.
Yeah, there were only 3 members on Exile at the Drake, and the TP came in from Werlyb as well, so they were primed and ready to go for that fight. They didn't even need Pirean. They knew they had the numbers advantage. They knew how squishy Exile's comp was. They knew that this comp doesn't want to fight this early on, and they were able to effectively punish. So that gold lead is starting to snowball out of control in favor of SK, and again, you've got to be proactive in the early game against a Karthus Zoe comp. You've got to keep maintaining the pressure, utilize the fact that this duo is very weak in the early game, and SK are doing a great job.
And of course, that breakpoint we're looking for now is the level 11. He has the magic pen. We just want that level 2 ultimate. Big damage difference, but Vedius, you called it out. Squishy. So many vulnerable members here.
Yeah, and I love this flank in from Werlyb as well. You can see the TP from behind. The engage is just great. The fact that Crownshot ults onto Caedrel once he's separated from the other 2 members means that it's very easy for him to find that kill and pick up a double buff as well now. He gets the initial heal, and then I'm not entirely sure where he got that second heal from. He is running Fleet Footwork, so maybe that's where he got it from. But that was a big chunk of health that he got back. Oh, the Alistar, that's where he got it from.
There you go.
That makes sense.
Rounds out 16 minutes though. Gold lead very close now to 5K as SK going to grab the Scuttle Crab as well here for their bottom lane. Gold just being funneled into Crownshot. Looking quite comfortable on this Kaisa pick. Things working out with their early decision to take away some of KaSing's options. Now Vedius, we kind of wait. The level 11 point for Karthus. That next ult, KaSing. Nice dash out. Missing out on the ultimate. The Predator, though, still active. Selfmade is going to back off, but you can tell the ball very much in the court of SK. They can do whatever they want at this stage of the game.
Time is still ticking for Exile. They're waiting. They need those items. But while they are waiting, SK is starting to build the economy empire. 5,000 gold lead is what they're seeing right now. Crownshot holds most of it with a 2k gold lead over his enemy AD carry. Nearly completed the Rage Blade as well. They've set up full vision throughout the topside river because their whole goal is to take this tower down. And Exile, they can't contest it. They can't even pressure anywhere else on the map. SK are playing a very clean game so far.
Very patient game as well. Important thing to note, Karthus level 11 now. The Requiem will be available shortly. That is a crucial breakpoint. 150 base damage increase between level 6 and level 11. When you multiply that by 5, it's a very big difference in terms of team fight impact. But they haven't found an opportunity yet to really utilize their composition. Exile being forced under his tower means he doesn't really get the luxury of throwing poke back. And slowly but surely, SK are just pulling away with this game.
Now, if you guys look in the pip on the bottom right, you'll see KaSing. He is one of the main shot callers for this team.
That's
it was
KaSing. I'm sorry.
Wow.
KaSing, main shot caller for the team, big leader.
KaSing is the main shot caller for the team, and he felt that he held a lot of the responsibility for why they ended up losing for G2, because he made the call for Caedrel to go onto the Nocturne to try and get that kill. And he is going to be one of the guys that you kind of keep your eyes on in this game. How well can he lead? When a lot of the plays happen, it is often him making the decision for the team. And having the opportunity to speak to him myself, he's quite happy that he almost has a fresh start with a lot of new players working together. A lot of them are keen to improve and get better. And the fact that everyone's motivated, I think, is something that he really likes being in that environment, and he thinks that he has a lot of potential to work with.
And it was a tough loss yesterday. And, we know that the XL boys took it very tough, but we see them coming on today, or coming to the stage today, with smiles on their faces, feeling confident about this game. Now, the early game has not gone in their favor. But the Zoe Karthus, as you mentioned, we're waiting for a big break point here. We're waiting for one of those combos to get it started. Dreams losing half his health bar. Definitely a good start. I don't know if Exile can actually hold on to the mid lane tower right now. Ooh, there's the engage. They're looking to try to find the follow-up. Crownshot in a bit of a difficult position now, running for his life as KaSing is going to go golden. Here comes the Sion. Got to try to drive out as Crownshot flashes to safety. Dreams manages to take down KaSing. Expect now in the middle of no man's land as they desperately try to kill Pirean. He's now running for his life. He will burn down. Karthus ult coming out. Eyes on Crownshot. Will it be enough? No. Too early in the game for the Karthus to find that half-health kill.
But poke continuing to come out from Exile, looking for every bit of damage that he can find. Crownshot used all of his summoner spells trying to get away from that situation and walk away with his life, but a really good headbutt pulverize combo from Dreams to knock KaSing into the team of SK to help find that kill onto the XL support. So quite close skirmish between the two teams. A bit of an overcommitment there coming out from SK. The goal lead still insurmountable, 6,000, just under 20 minutes. And we'll see here, you asked, I don't know if SK can secure this tower. Well, with a very quick flash engage ult from KaSing, you think they're going to get that one shot onto Crownshot, but he does get the ultimate out in time. He also gets the flash out, and unfortunately for KaSing, the combined damage of Werlyb and Dreams was enough to find that kill. And meanwhile, Pirean was looking for a flank. He wanted to set up the play behind the tower to help secure the objective and then help his team maybe get another kill, but the fight had already started. He was out of position, and the rest of Exile ended up punishing him for it, so ends up being a 1-for-1 overall.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, still, SK can just continue to come out on top, 1-for-1 with the tower, definitely in the favor of SK right now. The longer the game goes, though, the more that Exile might be able to get back here. But the Kaisa just continues to get scarier and scarier, and the lead that has been built up by Crownshot, giving him that 500 gold bounty, definitely a priority target. If Caedrel can actually get the ultimate down, they might be able to recoup some of the gold loss. Has the double magic pen items as well. But still, waiting on that Requiem cooldown. They just need to find that one pick, Vedius. If they pick off Crownshot, maybe they can start to shift things back in their favor. For now, though, they settle for little objectives, like the blue buff.
Thing is, the longer the game goes on, the more deadly this duo becomes, right? So you're always looking at SK to be like, they need to keep being proactive, they need to keep the pressure up, and that's not to say that their late game is bad, but when you have this kind of a lead, what you don't want is to run the risk of the enemy team coming back. Think of it as like percentages. Quickshot likes to ask this question all the time, you know. What is the percentage of this team winning this game? And for Exile, the longer the game goes on, the percentage just goes up and up and up and up. And right now, SK have like a 60-70% chance of winning this game. With this kind of a lead, with this composition that they have, they can look to be very aggressive. But if they don't do that, then that percentage starts to get bigger and bigger for Exile. And even if they look ahead, even if they look strong, you just don't want that to happen, right? You never want to give Exile an opportunity to really come back in the game. So onus is on SK to be the proactive team and to keep the pressure on Exile and maintain or even extend this gold lead.
And Exile, of course, fishing for those opportunities, looking for an opportunity to shift things in their favor. As you mentioned, SK keeping the pressure on. They've got Urgot pushing out the side lanes, trying to manage those as best they can. Crownshot now running, Selfmade happy to body block, but that's a lot of damage. MR for the Gragsa just non-existent, has so much armor outside of the Merc treads, and he's just taking so much from the Zoe already.
Now SK are setting up around the Baron, clearing out some of the wards, but they need to go clear out the top wave and mid wave. I've been really impressed with how SK have constantly maintained vision control throughout the river. You'll note that they have 3 Drakes right now. The next one will be a Cloud Drake, so not the optimal, but still builds towards that Elder Dragon win condition. And I just feel like SK have done a fantastic job. They've really demonstrated what you can do against the Karthus comp, which I like a lot. So SK, a new team, 3 members of the former Mad Lions, also introduced with Pirean coming over from SKT, and Dreams from Mysterious Monkeys and Vitality Academy last year. Something we discussed a lot was we wanted to see less self-made Werlyb like old Mad Lions. We wanted to see SK. We want to see a new way of playing. And
well, now you're going to see an engage from Dreams. Doesn't look like the fight is going to get extended, though. Actually, Selfmade is going to try to find this one. KaSing looking for the counter engage immediately. Crownshot's going to try to leap in. Exile trying to find something back. But really no damage put onto the SK lineup from Exile, except for Dreams.
Yeah, Exile, they really can't afford to team fight right now, especially in this enclosed space. And when KaSing goes in, he immediately got ulted from Pirean and one-shot. So now, Exile are a man down, one of their primary engage tools has disappeared, and SK are immediately going to make their way towards the Baron. Remember, they have this massive gold lead. It is really difficult for Exile to challenge them, and they also have no vision in even their own half of the jungle.
Now, we'll see if they're going to take it. No, not going to find the steal, and that is Baron secured for SK. 10k gold lead just about, not built on kills. Exile trying to cleanse, trying to run for his life. Vedius, this is not a game about blood. This is a game about slow, steady, controlled gameplay from the side of SK.
Yep.
Just looking like a much more experienced team.
Yeah, I really like what we're seeing from SK right now. This is the kind of advantage that they need to push. I love that Baron decision. They find a pick, they convert it into a big objective, and now we'll see where that pick started off. So Exile grouped up. They think, oh, we can fight. We need to get some vision control in our own jungle. They don't have any pressure. And then KaSing goes in when the rest of the team goes out. So he gets insta-chain CC'd. He gets blown up by the SK squad. Werlyb isn't even in the fight. And Exile are the ones that actually take all this chunk damage, whilst SK are just very healthy and happy. So they turn that into a Baron. And now the gold lead is approaching 9,000. Beautiful stuff from the SK squad.
SK with the 3 dragons as well. We'll have to see what they can do with this Baron, but tier 2s are all but certain to fall at this stage of the game. Karthus does give them some decent wave clear, but a bit more difficult for a lot of these champions to safely clear. Well, Vedius, I mean, 25 minutes in, this commanding of a lead, SK, absolute control, but I mean, if there's no kills, how did we really get here as we see these tier 2s start to fall?
Well, if you think about it, right, I feel like SK, they went on allegedly picnic, right? They just kind of walked out and they saw off in the distance that Exile were like, can we join the picnic? And SK said, no, no, I'm afraid this is only our picnic. And Exile, the entire game, have just watched as SK enjoyed their picnic. And now they're about to pack up their picnic and go home, while Exile have never really got to enjoy anything.
And Exile just doesn't get to eat. He doesn't even get a chance to get pulled back. They're trying desperately to get out. Vedius. Pirean's still going to run. Still, the Ignite not going to connect. That is awkward from Expect. They cannot get into this picnic, Vedius.
They can't. They just can't get in. They want to be a part of it, but they just won't be allowed. We haven't really seen a single Zoe Karthus duo once this game. And that was the point that I was trying to get at with my awful metaphor and analogy, whatever it's called. And SK have just controlled the entire game. They're now sitting in almost an 11,000 gold lead. They're going to convert it to their 4th Drake of the game. They've just secured themselves another tower, and everything is looking great for SK.
And you know, in elementary school, preschool, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
you learn sharing is caring.
It's true.
SK are not interested in sharing.
Well, they share with
say
each other.
everything is ours.
Yeah.
You will receive nothing, and that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah. And
And
Exile
sadly
are just
for-
like, but can we just maybe have a sandwich? And SK's like, did you bring a sandwich? Because,
No.
I mean, you could have. You were in the draft. You had the option. We told you.
BYOS, bring your own sandwich.
Exactly. And Exile were just like, well, we've got nothing. So,
All right. So as this probably ranks in our top 5 worst metaphors of all time,
yeah.
I'm enjoying it. Not as important, I think, as the audience enjoying it, but it does feel really like Exile have just not gotten to do anything. Like they had this comp, they had this idea for how things were going to play out, and SK have taken every single chance away
So, I
from
mean, the one lane that Exile could have played around was bot, but SK maintained pressure in mid with Pirean and kept bringing him to the bot lane. So SK completely mitigated any kind of play that KaSing and Jeskla could make, meaning that the one lane that Exile wanted to play around, they couldn't. And the moment SK took that bot tower, they've just been very systematic in where they've been finding leads. So it's just very good, smart League of Legends, and they shut down the potential win conditions of Exile, who are now about to lose their base.
difficult spot to be in. Luckily, the Baron buff has faded away, so maybe XL will get a little bit more time here. Depends on how aggressive SK are willing to play. In Crownshot, you can see, as we get further into the game, now that he has that QSS completed especially, not really scared of the Zoe anymore. Playing with a lot more confidence, and Exile definitely needs to be the guy that the entire team is terrified of getting one shot by, but no, KaSing going to try to find the engage, doesn't even touch him with it. Crownshot immediately going to cleanse, going to get right out of that fight. Exile ripped to pieces by Werlyb, and just like that, SK pulled the trigger. They cut through the XL lineup. Double kill now, expect buying a bit more time. That's the Requiem. No one's going to good night on that one, though. Easy kill pickup in the end from SK.
And now SK can look to end the game. They don't have the Baron buff, but they probably don't need it. 4 members of XL are dead. The minion wave is coming through, and SK are looking for a clean stop over XL.
All too easy. SK came prepared for a picnic. XL did not, Vedius. 8-1 the score, 15K gold lead, absolute dominance from start to finish. They did not need lots of kills, they did not need flashy plays, they needed one final team fight and an absolute command of the early game. SK take down Exile.
Elation on the faces of SK.
They feel alive.
Their excitement cannot be contained.
Dreams, ecstatic, hugs his team, it's sheepy.
He's very
He's
happy.
never felt so alive.
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you beat the Karthus comp. That's what you do. You deny the lane that you look to play around to try and get kills in. The Karthus never gets involved in the early game at all.
If you never get low, Karthus can never kill you with his ult.
Exactly that. So, I mean, that's the main difference that we've seen. Like, when you think back to Splice, when you think back to G2, whenever the Karthus has come out, he's used his ulti to pick up kills during the laning phase, and that didn't happen this time. SK were very patient. They found their picks. They converted them into objectives, and overall, very, very, very clean League of Legends from the SK squad. So they bounce back to 2-2. They now sit in the middle of our table, and unfortunately for XL, a difficult week for them. 0-2 now in week 2.
And one of the big differences in that game for me was Caedrel on the Karthus. While it is a very powerful champion, it's not really a champion that can kick things off, that can get things started.
It's true.
And it just feels like when he's not in the driver's seat in the early game, Exile do look a little bit lost. Do not at least keep tempo with the greater version of themselves that we saw yesterday against G2.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that when it comes to playing towards certain win conditions, I think they look stronger when Caedrel is on something that he can be a lot more proactive in the early game, when he can work more with Exile to kind of snowball these leads. But Still, I've just been very impressed with how SK executed that game. They had a very clear game plan. They understood what was going to happen against the Karthus, and they shut it down very, very effectively. So SK, they can feel pretty happy moving into week 3 about how things look. I'm still undecided about the strength of this team, you know, because they have very clean games like this, and sometimes they have not so clean games like Splice yesterday. They really struggle to execute upon their comp, and maybe the bottom line is just play easy play comps. Just give Selfmade something that he can have early game impact with, and then have laners that you can play around. And if that's the formula for SK, maybe that's enough to take them towards the top.
It does set a worrying precedent, though, for me in LEC in the sense that Selfmade ganks top literally every game.
Every game.
Misfits gank bottom literally every game. And if no one ever punishes this, we're just going to see that same game rinse and repeat for the entire split.
We might have that. It might be the same picnic over and over and over again, and who wants that, eh?
Yeah. And it culminates in one final fist fight to enter the picnic. They didn't win.
And keep your eyes on Crownshot in this fight, because it was smooth. It was very quick reactions from him. He popped the E, like, instantly. And look at that, he doesn't even get hit by the toy. He doesn't need to use his QSS. It was really good stuff from him, and the moment that the engage is gone, then Dreams, Pirean, and Werlyb all dive onto the backline, and they're just like, yeah, we can tank this tower. We have enough for gold lead. This is easy.
This team comp to me, Vedius is a crab, right? It's got this nice shell. Okay. You know, when the Karthus and the Zoe are there to stop you from pushing in, that's the shell, folks.
Makes
the
sense.
second you break into the shell, it's just like meaty, delicious goodness. And once one of those members dies, it's just like you're having a good time. You're eating crab.
That's a really good analogy. Really good analogy. I think you set that up really nicely. You really recovered from our awful picnic analogy from earlier. So thank you for that, Drakos. That was really helpful. So SK moved to 2-2. Exile moved down to 1-3. We'll see what they're able to do moving into next week. To be fair, Exile have had some tough competition, and I think this is one of those games that they would have very much liked to win because of how close these two teams are in the standings, but unfortunately they could not do it. And yeah, now we move on to our next game of the day, which is G2 versus Rogue. Definitely expected to be a one-sided game with top of the table versus bottom of the table. We'll see if Rogue can bring out any surprises against the Powerhouse today.
Look, all I'm saying is don't count Rogue out. For you guys at home, the Kia Player of the Game vote is up and running. At Esports on Twitter is the place, so you can head over there and select your pick. Maybe you can choose between Werlyb, Selfmade, Crownshot. Who do you think deserved it? It's a hard call, actually.
It's Selfmade.
Is it?
He did like everything.
Crownshot was really clean.
I mean, he was. He had a great Kaisa game.
Yeah.
But I still think, like, I don't know, I always go to the supportive cast. I'm like, if you get kills, is it really you doing a lot, or are you just last hitting?
I mean, he like cleanse flash to Sion, and then he like ulted, dodge one thing, and flash the next thing. I feel like it was good.
Appreciate your junglers.
Appreciate your junglers, folks. But the jungler, not going to be in the interview. It is going to be the top laner, AD carry, and support. 3 people with Trevor Quickshot Henry. Is he man enough to handle the interview? We're going to find out.
Oh, I certainly hope so, Drakos. I've been unleashed on the interview bench, and I've caught as many SK players as I could fit onto the bench. Congratulations, Werlyb, Crownshot, and Dreams. It's very nice to have you here. I think Dreams will say thanks to you. Hello, Dreams. Sorry, we don't actually have enough microphones for my plan, so I apologize about that. Let's start by talking about the game. You just smashed it. Werlyb, it seems like Selfmade likes to come and spend some time in your lane early on very frequently. Is this just something you guys do because you've played together, or did it make sense in today's comp?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because we still manage to always get a kill, usually, even though like I think enemies know that it's gonna be a ganking problem. But no, it's just like, I don't know, I just say like, hey, Toby's kind of free to kill if you come. He's like, yeah, I have like 20, 30 seconds right now free. He just comes, something that just happened, but it's not really pre-planned.
Crownshot, do you and Dreams sometimes get a little bit jealous that Selfmade always goes to Werlyb first?
Yeah, of course.
And of course, Dreams, now you're new to the SK roster and new to playing with Crownshot. Welcome to the LEC stage. How have you found your first 2 weeks on the LEC stage here in Europe?
Just great. It feels really good.
And how good is Crownshot as an AD carry versus your previous AD carry?
I mean, he's really like motivated to stay as a good player at LCS, like LEC. And it's really enjoyable to work with this guy, for sure.
That makes me very happy to hear. Crownshot, turning back to you. Let's talk about SK. You guys have had 2 very, very convincing wins. Call it 2.5 if we count the Fnatic game, and 2 difficult losses. You know, what's causing some of these inconsistencies in the results we see on stage?
I think sometimes we're just not sure, like, what
our intentions are in draft or how to win the game, so we get a bit confused in game and just start playing reactively instead of playing proactively like we did this game. So I think if we know our win conditions and how we win the game, then we execute it properly. And that's what we did today, I would say.
Yeah, definitely showed to be the case. Werlyb, for me personally, it's great to have you back on the stage.
Thank you, man.
We've been on the same stage together for many, many years. And one of the stories that I really like to talk about is when you first made your debut, a little bit of a one-trick pony Jax player, maybe it's a bit harsh. But very importantly, over the years, playing through Challenger, playing through ERLs, you've diversified your skill set. So what is it like now coming up against the likes of Wonder, Alfari, Soaz, all of these big names that have continued to play at the LCS, LEC level, and now you're rejoining the ranks?
Yeah, for me it's so exciting because I think the top level right now is really, really high. Like, for me, being able to play versus players like Wonderwear is like something to be proud. And I'm also very happy because when I, went down from SCS, I said to myself, I got to do it, like I have to get back into SCS. And it took me some time, but I'm happy to be back.
That makes me very happy to hear. And for Crownshot, of course, 3/5 of Mad Lions playing on SK, a lot of success with that roster. Can you step back and look at the likes of, the Spanish League versus the LEC and how the different experiences or where the uniqueness is?
Yeah, I mean, the difference is massive
Don't play in Spanish League.
Just between the level of teams and players and bot lanes and just the macro game, just everything. But the crowd in the Spanish League is still pretty great, so yeah.
What did you say, don't flame?
I mean, the Spanish League is just awesome. Just watch it, guys.
I like that. I agree with that entirely. Dreams, I want to turn my attention over. How has it been adapting when you play with a team that has 3 members that used to play together? And, coming in and joining this roster, it's this unique dynamic. So how's it been for you personally?
First time I felt really lonely, but since I get friendly with all the teammates, we found the synergy and happiness together. I mean, after that, it just felt like same. Just all teammates are really friendly and nice.
Dreams, how far is SK Gaming going to go in the spring split?
I want to make it to the finals, for sure. And I want to show how good we are.
And I'm going to stick with you, Dreams. When you look at the rest of the supports, with Mithy returning, with Gorilla coming back into the league, which support players are you the most excited to play against, to learn from, and maybe to beat?
I think it's Gorilla, because it's kind of funny to play against LCK players. And since he beat us really hard, so I want a revenge.
If I turn to Crownshot, going up against Gorilla, he seems to be hand-holding and really helping Hansama a lot. Feels to me like Gorilla's initiations let Hansama run away with the game. What was it like playing against that duo? And how are you enjoying playing against these superstar AD carries as well?
I mean, they're a very strong duo for sure. But I think, they got a really strong draft phase as well with Lucian Alistar. But overall, playing against players like Upset, Reckless, Hans, it's just really good. It's a really good experience, and I feel like I'm learning a lot every time I play against them.
Give me a power ranking in AD carries. Give me the top 3.
The top 3? Do I include myself or not?
Of course, go for it.
I would say top 3 is Hans, Upset, and...
Crownshot for number 3.
Crownshot
That's
for
what
number
I
3.
like, of course. That's what I like. Gentlemen, I do have the Kia player of the game to announce. I'm very happy to say that in interview it's not one of the 3 of you, because I get to make fun of you. Werlyb, you always get set up. It's Selfmade. He's your Kia player of the game. Werlyb, what's it like when you look at Selfmade, also one of the newer members to the team, and sorry, to SK, but he's getting all the hype and all the praise over the last 2 weeks. Does it make you jealous?
Yes, I'm not gonna lie, yes. But it also, it takes pressure away from me, so it's fine.
And who should win player of the game? Earlier today, Upset won it, but Upset was the interview, and the award went to Ignar, and I said to him, who should win? Is it the AD carry that finishes the game, or the carry, or is it the person that sets it up? What's more important? So the question is, who should win player of the game? The person that sets the kill up, or the person that gets the kill?
Always the one who gets the kill, always.
Of course, that's the carries, that's the carries. All right, gentlemen, we're just about to go to an ad break. When we come back, it is G2 versus Rogue. I just want to ask down the line, what does Rogue have to do to beat G2 Esports, Werlyb?
I guess nothing, like, they can't.
Is it that simple? Crownshot, if you had to pick, what would be the trick?
I think it will be really hard. Yeah, I think they just have to maybe cheese or pick like really strong early lanes, but I think it will be extremely hard.
Very last one, Dreams. Yesterday, Exile Esports almost beat G2 in 45 minutes. What does Rogue have to do to actually pick up the win?
I just want to say like good luck to them, and I hope they perform really well.
Well, that answer definitely did not go the way that I was hoping it would go. Nevertheless, thank you very much. SK Gaming, congratulations, 2-2 overall. We're going to hit an ad break, and when we come back, G2 take on Rogue. Thank you, guys.